Hello, I'm Lucy Jennings from the Creativity Patch. Come along with me and let's do some happy weaving. Now that I'm finished weaving, it's time to do the finishing touches. The first thing I'm going to do is take each one of these pairs of weft threads and tie them in a knot. You might find it helpful to use your tapestry needle to hold the knot down right in place so you know that it gets nice and tight. And we're going to finish off these ends after we cut it off the loom. So I'm going to turn the loom over, and I'm going to cut right through the center of the warp threads. I know it's a little scary, but it's not so bad. Gently pull down the warp threads on the bottom and on the top. And there you have it. Now, if it's helpful, you might want to use a book to weight down your weaving while you're tying the knots. And I'm just going to take each pair of warp threads and tie them in a square knot. Just like so. Now, if you're not sure what a square knot is, let me remove the book so you can see what I'm doing better. So I take the two warp threads and I wind one around and through the loop like so. Then I make it tight and I take the same one and I wind it around and through the loop and back to the other side. If you have another knot that's your favorite, go ahead and use it. I'm just tying knots on the bottom is all I'm really doing. I don't really use the book that often on these little tiny weavings, but I just wanted to show you in case you found it was easier for you. It holds the weaving in place while you're tying your knots. Before all of your knots are tied, the less you handle the weaving, the better. So that's why I wanted to tie all of these bottom knots before I sewed this weft end up through the warp. So I'm just going to gently make it go through these side loops. About a half an inch or an inch is fine. And just gently pull it up. And there you have it. You can cut it off. I'm not going to cut these just yet. Now for the top, I'm going to hang this using a straw. So I just got this cute little straw that I'm going to use for the hanging. So I'm going to go cut this off and I'll be right back. Okay, now I have my straw all cut to size, but before I actually tie it onto the top, I'm going to tie all of the knots at the top. You only have to tie the knot once. You don't have to do the square knot because we're going to be tying the straw on top of it. Now I don't like this little knot on the end here, so I am going to trim him off. He was the knot that was left over from when we tied the two warp ends together when we wound the warp onto our loom. So I'm going to turn this around now, and I'm going to take this weft thread and sew it down through the piece. Now be careful you don't pull it too tight, and that should do it. And now it's time to tie the straw on top. Now I've taken the warp thread and I've wound it around the straw, and I'm going to pull the knot down so it will actually be on the back side of the woven piece. And then I'm going to tie it one more time. I've laid the weaving on a piece of paper because now it's time to put a little dab of glue onto each knot, just to make sure it doesn't come out, because we're going to be cutting them close. I like to use Eileen's Clear Gel Tacky Glue, but really, any glue will be fine. I'm just going to get a toothpick and put a little dab of glue on each knot. Kind of make sure it's getting down in there in the knot real well. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to be cutting these ends off pretty short, and they could come out if they weren't glued shut. That was a little messy. There you go. Now all we have to do is let the glue dry and trim it up, and we're set. Now all we have to do is let the glue dry. Now that the glue's all dried, I'm just going to trim off all of the warp ends. And now I'm going to take the same 8/4 cotton warp thread and I'm going to put it through the straw for hanging. Easy way to do that is just thread it through your tapestry needle. And it's all ready to hang. If you'd like to learn more about weaving, subscribe to my channel. And be sure to check out my website, The Creativity Patch. There's lots more things to learn there, and I've got some really fun weaving kits. See you there, and happy weaving!